Hello, I'm Dragos, and in this video we're going to take a look of how you can install CloudPanel with Dockge. So basically CloudPanel is a hosting panel that can help you host websites. It's running on Nginx and it's very lightweight, and it has all the features that you need to create PHP websites, or you can create Node.js, Python, and also it has options to create reverse proxies. This is the interface for CloudPanel, and in here you have the options to add websites. So you can choose various type of websites that you can add. You see in here you have like WordPress, PHP ones, static ones. You can have reverse proxy ones. You have an administration area where you can add users. You have the firewall setup. You can create backups and so on. It is also offering an overview on your server with resources. Yeah, this is CloudPanel, and yeah, it's a very good way to host websites. I'm using it for hosting all of my websites, and I don't have any problems right now. It has a nice interface, and it has a lot of features that you can use. And the other option is the Dockge one, and in here you can use Dockge as a container alternative. Basically, Dockge is a Docker Compose administration panel that will let you deploy Docker applications, and you can manage them easily from here. You see that this is the interface, and in here you have different compose files that you can edit, restart, update, stop, and so on. And in this area you have the compose file. You can just deploy the compose file with just a click. You just click compose and you have the stack name, and in here you have the compose file. Dockge is a very good alternative that will help you manage your Docker Compose applications. So in this video we're going to see how we can install them both on a VPS server. So in this way you will be able to add websites and databases, and also you will be able to add Docker Compose applications that you can manage with Dockge. With this tutorial, the applications that will be added on top of CloudPanel, it will be backed up automatically by CloudPanel if you can configure the external backup. So you have everything that you need to manage a VPS server, and to get most of it with CloudPanel you can host websites and applications, and with Docker and Dockge you can host applications that comes in Docker. I've also created an article in here that will provide the details that we're going to see in this video, and it will go through the steps that we need to do and install everything and configure everything, so you have a working VPS with all of these features. So the first thing that we're going to need is a VPS server. So there are various providers that are offering VPS services. One of them is Vultr, Hasner, or DigitalOcean. All are offering some free credits in the beginning that you can start with. So my preferred choice is Hasner, and yeah, because it's having a good balance between the price and the performance. So in here the first thing that we are going to do is to log into the Hasner interface, and in here you have the options to add a server. So basically we are going to add a server that we are going to use to host CloudPanel and Dockge, and for this you have the options to choose from various data centers. Both of these applications are working with ARM also. You can host them on x86 architecture or the ARM architecture, and in here we are going to choose a data center. So you should choose a data center that is closest to your visitor and the traffic that you are receiving to these applications. In here we are gonna choose Ubuntu 22.04, it's fine. As an image, I will install this on Intel AMD, and in here you have the various shapes with different CPU types that you can use. In function of what you are hosting in there, you can choose the better option for you. For this test, I will just use the AMD one that has 2 CPUs and 2 GB of RAM, because it will be enough to get us started and host everything in there. In here we are going to choose the SSH key that it is set up in here, and yeah, you should use SSH keys to connect to your servers to have a secure way to access them. And I will not set any firewall right now in Hasner. I will set one in a CloudPanel. CloudPanel is having a default one set up when we install it, and in here we are gonna just provide a name for this, and in here I will just provide the cPanel DG name from Dockge. And I will start to create and buy right now. And this will start to spin off our VPS server that we are going to use to access and install the CloudPanel and the other things. So in here you have the public IP address that you are going to copy, and you are going to use it in the terminal to connect to the VPS server. And in here I have the terminal open, and let me go and SSH to this. Let me make this thing bigger first so you can better see what is happening. So like this should be enough. You should be able to see everything. So let's SSH to this. So I will just SSH -e with the key. Root is the user. And in here I will just paste the IP address that I've copied. Okay, let's hit yes in here. So right now we are logged into the VPS server, and the next thing that we are going to do is to go and update the packages on the server to have everything up to date. So we're going to run sudo apt update with sudo apt upgrade, and right now the installation should start. Hit OK in here, OK in here. Okay, so right now we have everything updated, and the next thing that we are going to do is to go and install the CloudPanel. And in here you have the commands that you need to run. I'll also let a link into the article with the installation documentations for other providers. So basically I'm just going to install CloudPanel with the Hasner as a cloud provider, so to link it with Hasner if I want to create automatic snapshots, and I'm gonna use as a database the MariaDB 10.11. And we're just going to need to copy this, and we're gonna open again the terminal, and we're gonna need to paste this command in here. And what this will do, it will go and install CloudPanel. This should be a fast installation. CloudPanel, it's an lightweight hosting panel. Okay, so CloudPanel right now it's installed, and the next thing that we are going to do is to go and access the URL. With this, basically is the server IP with the 8443 port. And let's go and open this. And the first thing that we're going to do is to just create a name with this and a username. And let me put the password in here. In here you can choose your time zone. I agree, create user. The user is created, and right now we're just going to log in with the user. And right now this is the installation. You see in here, you don't have anything set up. You go to admin area, you have some options. You have the dashboard in this area with server resources and so on. And what we're going to do in here, we're going to add a domain to this CloudPanel installation so we can access it with SSL certificate. So in settings in here, we can set our custom domain or subdomain, and what we need to do first is to go and add a record to the domain that we want to use for this. And in here I am using Cloudflare, and I will just go into the DNS settings and I will hit add new, and in here I will just use the cp in a word DG like this, cpdg. And I will copy paste the IP address. Let me go and copy again the IP from here. Okay, I will not proxy it through Cloudflare, and I will hit save. So right now the domain for this is the bdoz.com on, and it will use a subdomain to configure the CloudPanel on this one. And in here we just go and add the subdomain with bdoz.com, which is the main domain. And right now what we should do is to just go and click save, and afterwards CloudPanel, it will create a certificate for us, and it will be accessible through this HTTPS URL. Let's see, it can take also a couple of minutes for this to be set up. Let me see if everything was set up. So yeah, right now everything is set up. Let me close this, and we're going to use the secure method to access it. And let me put the user and password. Okay, so right now we have the CloudPanel set up. and we can add website and things like that. But for us, the next activity is to go and install Docker, because we're going to use Docker to manage our applications. In here, I have a script that will help you install Docker. You just need to copy it. Basically, this will install Docker and Docker Compose on your Ubuntu. So it will work for IRM or x86, doesn't matter. And right now we just need to go into the terminal. And in here, we just need to go and paste these details. So Docker to be installed. So right now we have Docker installed, we have CloudPanel installed. The next thing that we're going to do is to go and install Docker on, install Dockge. And to do this, to install Dockge, first thing that we're going to do is to create a domain or subdomain that we're going to use to put Dockge in. So we're going to use the CloudPanel, and in here we have the options to add a site. And in here we will create a reverse proxy. And in here you will put the domain name or the subdomain name that you want to use for the Dockge. I will just put dg.vidos.com. And in here you will choose the HTTP with the local IP. And in here we are going to use a port. I will gonna use the 5000 port. I will use the 5000 range for my applications. And in here you will have a site user. Basically, this is the OS user that is going to be used. And in here you have the password for this. I will let it like this right now. So right now we have the dgbidos.com set up, and what we're going to do next is to go and add the directories in there so we can install Dockge. So to do this, we are going to need to go in the installation of the user. And in here, if you go to home, you're seeing here that you will have a couple of homes for the users and for CloudPanel and MySQL. And we are going to go into the Bidoze one. In here, we are going to use the htdocs location. In here we should have the domain, and in here we are going to create the Dockge installation and the Dockge stack details. So basically, if you're doing it like this, we will be able to back up the application and Dockge if you're configuring the CloudPanel backup. So that's why I'm putting everything in here, just to have the Dockge users with all the application and everything in there, so we don't spread them across different options. So let's go and create the two directories. One it will be for the Dockge installation, and one it will be for the Dockge stacks. So basically here you have all the applications that you are gonna install with Docker Compose. So let's go and create these two directories, sorry. So right now we should have two directories in here that we are going to use. So you can use root to create all of these things, because also the Docker installation, it will going to use root to run this. It will be no problem for CloudPanel. You can back up this location, you can access it. So you shouldn't see any problems, at least from my tests. And right now we should go into the Dockge location, because this will be used for adding the Dockge container with the application. And in this area you have the Docker Compose file that you are going to use, and in here it's using the image, it's using the restart option, so this to start automatically if it's not stopped. It's using the port, the 5000 port that we've chosen when we created the application with the internal port. It's using the volumes for this, and yeah, in here you have the options to add the path to the stacks, and for that we have an utility that can be used. Let's go in here. So if you go in Dockge, you see in here you have the stacks directory and the port that we can add, and this will create automatically the Docker Compose file for us. So let's go and go and copy the path. So the path it will be with Dockge stacks for the stacks. I just go in here to do a pwd so I can see the full path of this and put it in here. And right now you see that the compose file has been modified to use what we have placed in here. So the port and the correct path where we have the Dockge stack. So I will copy this. And right now we are going to go and create a compose file. We need to go into the Dockge directory. And in here we're going to create a compose.yaml file. And in here I will just insert what is there. And again, you see in here that it will use what we have created in there. This needs the full path to work. You see the details also in here. And let's go and save this. And right now the next thing that we're going to do is to bring up this container. Docker compose up -d, and this will fetch the Dockge application and it will start the application. Okay, right now if we run docker ps, you will see that the application it's starting, and you have the ports in here that can be used. And yeah, right now what we're going to do is to go and point the subdomain that we are going to use for Dockge to this installation, so we can access this through a domain. And in here I will create another a record, and this time it will be the DG one that we've set up in the reverse proxy application for this, and I will hit save. So basically right now if you try to access the dg.bdoze.com, it should point you directly to the Dockge installation. First thing that we need to do is to go and let's go in here. We need to go and create a SSL certificate for this, because by default the SSL certificate created by CloudPanel is a self-sign one, and we need to go and create a Let's Encrypt one, new Let's Encrypt certificate, and we're going to create one and install. You see in here you have the domain that we've added in Cloudflare, and I will just gonna hit create, and this should create the SSL certificate for us. And afterwards we can access the installation. So you see in here that you have the Let's Encrypt certificate, which is installed. What we're going to do right now is to go to HTTPS, and we're gonna open the Dockge, and then the first thing that you'll be prompted is to choose the language, be English for me, and to create a user, and then you should create a password. Repeat the password. So right now you have Dockge installed, and this installation it will run in the subdomain. You can access it afterwards. Let's see. Right now the other thing that we should do is to go and open the firewall ports. So what is happening right now, CloudPanel added a firewall, and you have only some ports open. If you want to not assign a subdomain to all of your application, you can open port by port or by range. And to do that, we are just going to go into the CloudPanel installation, and in the admin area in security, you will have in here the firewall, and in here you have the add rule, and in here you have the custom, and in here you can add your port ranges. So for instance, for my case it was from 5000, and I will put 100 ports to be opened. You can of course add one by one to be more secure, or to not open any ports if you don't want to access the application via port and you want to use subdomain or domains. And in here you have the IPv4 and IPv6. So I will choose the IPv4, so it will be from everywhere. So these ports can be accessed from everywhere. And in here I will put my name, so it will be like Dockge app ports. And I will add a rule. So right now you will see when we are going to deploy an application that you can go and access this without a subdomain if you want that. So let's go, and the next is to find something that we can deploy. I will deploy the Uptime Kuma application. So basically this is the application that is developed by the one that developed Dockge, and in here this is an application that will help you monitor websites. It's one-click deployment that can be done, and I will just show you how it's working. In here you have the options to create also Docker run commands into the compose file, and in here I will put a name, time Kuma. And in here you have the options to alter this. So you see in here you have the options to restart it when you want. You have also the options in here to choose the port. So I will choose the 5001 ports because this is the range port that it's open. For the volumes, I'll put the volumes to be in the same path where the installation it's happening. The container name, the image you have in here, volumes are not necessary. I'll just delete them. And in here we can just save this. Right now you can edit it and start it. I just wanted to show you something. If you want to edit this with the Dockge interface, you can do so. And in here you can see that you can change the image, you can change the ports, you can have the volumes, you have the restart policy in here. I will put title and stop. You have environment variables, network, container dependencies that you can add, and so on. So right now we should be able to start this. So what I'm gonna do, I will just go and start this, and what this will do, it will go and start the Uptime Kuma container. And yeah, this should take a couple of seconds. So right now you see that the container it started. So in here you see that you have the options to just access it directly. And what this has done, it went directly to the port 5001 with the domain, but this, yeah, it's not secured. If you want to have this secured, you will need to create another reverse proxy to this one. It depends on what you want to do with these applications. But yeah, right now, for instance, if you want to assign this to a subdomain and not use the port, you can go and, for instance, in here in the CloudPanel, we have the options to go to sites and add a site. Like before, we are going to choose the create reverse proxy. We are going to choose a subdomain or domain for this. UPTK Uptime Kuma. I'll put it like this. You choose the port in here that you've put to the application. And in here you also need to put a domain. And right now you will hit create. And what this did, it's created another reverse proxy in here. And right now we'll need to do the same thing. We're gonna need to add an A record to this. And to do so, we're just going to add the UPTK, and we're gonna use the IP address. Depending on your need, you can proxy this through Cloudflare or not. I will not proxy this through Cloudflare. I want to have everything on CloudPanel and generate a certificate in there. So right now I've added the application, and what we should do next is to go and generate our certificate for this application, because remember, this is not having any certificate by default. And to do this, we're gonna go to manage in SSL, action, new certificate, and create and install. And right now this will add a necessary certificate to our application, and we can access this application via the subdomain that we've chosen. You can add a domain in here. It's up to you what you want to do. And I will just go and add the HTTPS to this. And in here, you see that right now we're accessing the application that we install on Docker securely. Again, in here, you will be prompted to create a username, password, repeat the password, depends on your application needs. And right now, if we're going to go and check, for instance, the sites, and in here in the DG, you have also a file manager that you can use. And in here, you will see that you have some details. So you see that here you have the Dockge installation with the compose file and data that has been created with the database for the Dockge installation. And if you're going to go into the Dockge stacks, in here you will see that you have the Uptime application. And again, in here you see that you have the Uptime volume that has been created for you with the environment file. And in here you have the backups. And every time when you will add an application, basically it will go under the Dockge stack folder, and you will have only this user that will have all the applications, and yeah, you can back them up and do various things with them. So for instance, in the administration area, you have some options, for instance, to link this with Hasner, so it can create automatic snapshots at server level. Another options that you can enable is to enable the external backup. And in here you have some provider. This is using Airclone to do backups. You can configure everything that Airclone has to do these backups. And every time when a backup it will be done, it will also back up your application with the volumes that you have. So in this way you will have all the data securely stored externally. Yeah. So these are some of the things that can be done. And yeah, in this way you are adding the CloudPanel with Dockge, so you can easily manage your Docker containers. In CloudPanel, for instance, if you go to sites and like this, you can also edit the vhost details in case your application had some special requirements. You can go and activate the details on the reverse proxy and so on. And in settings details, you can change the port if you want to modify it, and so on. In the security area, you can block IPs, you can block bots if you want. You can enable the basic authentication for the application in case the application is not having user and the password that it will be asked. You can just go and enable the basic authentication. You can create a username and a password. You can even whitelist IPs to not request this password, and you can protect your application. You have the file manager. You have the options to create cron jobs if you want. In here you have also logs. So you see in here that you will have logs from Nginx that it will show you all the access details. So yeah, CloudPanel is enhancing the way you are administrating application. Plus, if you go to sites are new, you have various options that you can use to host your websites easily. You have a dark interface. If you like the dark interface, you can create users and so on. And yeah, here you have the details with CPU usage and disk utilization and some basic things about your server. I have also a course that it's going into more details in CloudPanel and how you can use it. If you want, I will let a link into the description to the course that will help you understand better CloudPanel. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed what you have seen. Please don't forget to like and subscribe